Thanks for watching Lessons in Minutes with Jaylee. Like, share, and don't forget to subscribe.
Welcome, welcome, welcome again, guys, as we take a look at a new topic, which is financial statements for cooperatives. And at the end of the lesson, you should be able to prepare financial statements of a cooperative society. What is a cooperative society? A cooperative society is a type of financial institution that is owned and operated by its members. It is a voluntary association of individuals having common needs who join hands for achievement of economic interest. So you'll find that the aim is to serve the interests of the society through the principle of self-help and mutual help. And earlier I mentioned that it is a voluntary association. It does not operate to gain a profit. Okay? So you can look at it as a non-profit organization. We're now going to take a look at the financial statements that are prepared by a cooperative business. So the financial statements of a cooperative is a mixture of non-trading and limited liability company. Non-trading because it does not operate to generate a profit, and limited liability because it generates its share capital through the issue of shares to its members. But unlike the limited liability company, where there is a maximum amount of shares that they can issue, the cooperative society, there is no maximum to the amount of shares that they can issue. Now, what are the financial statements? Include the income and expenditure account, appropriation account, statement of financial position. Now, a non-trade organization prepares what is called a receipts and payment account because they do not keep a cash account. Their aim is not to make a profit. So they don't prepare a cash account. What they prepare is a receipts and payment account. And the very same thing is prepared by the cooperative business. So it prepares a receipts and payments account. So what is received would be debited and what is paid out would be credited in this account. And you can see the lesson on non-trading organization for the principle in preparing a receipts and payment account. Now we're going to look in depth at the preparation of an income and expenditure account. Basically, it is the income minus the expenditure, and that will give you the result of whether it is a surplus or a deficit. So it is relatively simple. Income, you less your expenditure, and that will give you your surplus or deficit. In terms of surplus, once your income is greater than your expenditure, then that is a surplus. For a deficit, if your expenditure exceeds your income, then of course that is a deficit. Now we're going to look at examples of what are income. So the first one there is interest on investment. Members due, so those money that come in from the members in terms of their dues, that is income. Also interest received, we have dividend received. So those are just 4 examples of income that would be generated by the cooperative business. And we're going to look at the expenditure and of course affiliation fees, interest on members' deposit, committee meetings expenses, auditors remuneration. We also have annual general meeting dues, and guess what? All those other expenses that you are used to. So other expenses such as lighting, water bills, internet, all those other expenses that you are used to. So in doing your income and expenditure account, remember it is your income less your expenditure, and that will give you either surplus or deficit. Now we're going to look at the appropriation account. And the appropriation account is relatively simple, just the same. And it is your surplus or deficit. Add your undistributed surplus brought forward from last year. You would then less your appropriations, and then that would give you your undistributed surplus that will be carried forward to next year. In looking at the appropriation account for the cooperatives, it would drag your knowledge back to limited liability company. Okay, so there's not much difference when you look at the appropriation account for the cooperatives as opposed to that of the limited liability company. Remember earlier, I stated that it is a mixture of non-trading and limited liability company. So let's look at some examples of the appropriation. We have the first one there, dividends, and these are paid out to the members that have purchased shares in the cooperative. We have reserves. Next is honorarium, and honorarium is basically voluntary payments to the members of the management committee as a token of appreciation for the services that they perform in the business on a daily basis. The business doesn't pay out salary, so we're not going to refer to it as salary or wages. What they give them is a token for the work that they have performed within the business. We also have patronage refund, and patronage refund is basically the return distributed to the members in proportion to their individual patronage for doing business with them, basically for making purchases within the cooperative society. Now, let's look at the statement of financial position for a cooperative. And it is similar to a limited liability company, right? But there are some things that you have to look out for. So items that you have to look out for, loans to members. And the loans to members, if it is a long-term loan, then of course you're going to treat that as fixed asset. While if it is a short-term loan, then you're going to treat that as current assets. The other is members' fees outstanding, and that would be current asset because that is owing to the business. The members should be paying this, but it is not yet received, so it is outstanding. So you would look at it similar to like a debtor then. The debt of the person owing the business, and that is a current asset because in fact the money that they have outstanding out there is a business owned, so therefore it is a current asset. Next, we have honoraria owing, and this is a current liability. We have dividend owing, current liability, and this is only if they are owing. We have capital and reserve. The capital and reserve section, people, we show the share capital, just like the limited liability company. We show reserves, and examples of the reserves are undistributed surplus, statutory reserve, special reserve, etc. Okay, there may be education fund reserve, there may be health fund reserve, etc. So the question would be different. Okay, so you just work with the reserves that are presented in the question. And that takes us to the end of looking at the financial statements as it relates to a cooperative society. Guess what? Stay in tune because I will be working some questions, past paper questions looking at the appropriation account, looking at income and expenditure account, looking at journal entries as it relates to a cooperative. I will also be looking at statement of financial position as it relates to a cooperative society.
Like, share, and don't forget to subscribe.